One of the things that I get to do for the chamber is I'm in charge of member spotlight speakers. And today we have one of our members that's going to talk to us about health insurance, I'm sure, which, he's a Marine. So I'm sure he's going to make this topic very exciting for us. So, Scott is a husband, a father, a Marine, a helicopter pilot, and I know that, and a health insurance expert. So I know he deals with small businesses and helping small businesses figure out the plan that's right for them. So without further ado, I will pass it to Scott Neidecker.
I appreciate it, Chris. I was laughing. I had to write my notes in crayon. Just go ahead and throw that joke out there, get it out of the way. Let me get my screen share going on. All right, let me know if my slides stop moving through or if you can't see them. Well, good morning, everyone. Scott Neidecker, as you know, appreciate the opportunity to speak this morning. We've had some pretty great presentations over the last few weeks, and I have some very big shoes to fill. I promise to be very informative, regardless of your understanding on health insurance. Go ahead and start off by acknowledging the fact that us veterans take a completely different approach to healthcare than basically anyone else. First, we've experienced some of the best healthcare coverage in the world with TRICARE. I know we haven't had perfect experiences with every doctor or corpsman during our time, but it's fair to say whenever we had an issue, it was taken care of, and it was usually at no expense. I know from personal experience, I never paid a dime, and I was active duty 10 years, ABA therapies 3 days a week, in-home speech therapies 2 days a week, monthly checkups, surgeries. I even had LASIK eye surgery, and I never paid a dime for it. So it's very unique to come from that type of experience and background and then go into the civilian healthcare network. For those of you retired and still on TRICARE, you're still experiencing some of the best coverage the country has to offer. But we're gonna get into what that transition was like and what it's like for a lot of people. So for me, huge transition, growing up on a system that was free 24/7, and then to fully understand civilian healthcare, its networks and its costs and what that was going to do to me personally. I remember just 6 months, and it's no joke, 6 months after I got out of left active duty and had my own insurance provider, I had to cancel my plan and apply for Medicaid because the coverage was too much for me and my family, and I just couldn't afford it. I was completely unprepared to take that burden on, and I thought I was doing pretty well financially. So this quick presentation is going to help everyone understand, a little bit of why that happens and that there is hope and what I can do for other people in similar situations. So a quick background of me and the company, United States Marine Corps, just over 10 years. Primary MOS was a AH-1 Whiskey Cobra pilot, spent some significant time as a senior warfighting instructor, staff platoon commander, Marine liaison with both combined and joint commands overseas. A couple combat deployments to Afghanistan, and after we went from 2 to 4 kids overnight with the birth of the twins, enough was enough, and I had to become a family man and come on home and spend more time with the family. I'm gonna fast forward about 4 years, and here we are, now self-employed, which is awesome. Licensed health advisor, currently have a captive contract with USHealth Advisors. I specialize in helping self-employed and small businesses, but I never turn down any opportunity to talk and help any individual looking for coverage. And this is where I stop and say, do you guys still see my slides? Awesome. All right. Rocking and rolling this morning. All right. My resident license is obviously here in Texas. I have numerous non-resident licenses over the entire country, about 35 states. I think a lot of people will agree on this call that one of the positive things that come from the mandatory quarantines is that I can meet with those clients all the way over Montana, Utah, Maryland via Zoom and screen share, and no one even bats an eye anymore. So that's one positive aspect that's been huge for business. I still love face-to-face. Appointments and consultations, sitting down with some coffee is always awesome, and I love that, but you can't beat the efficiency of screen sharing technology that we got today. A little bit about the company. It's US Health Group Incorporated. It is a fully integrated insurance holding company. It's based here in Fort Worth. It is a United Healthcare company. You can see the awards and accolades on the screen, but my opinion, the biggest achievement by far is the company grew 6.2 revenue last year. And that was during, of course, one of the worst years our country's economy has seen. And it not only grew by 15 billion in revenue last year, but they didn't lay off a single person, and that's company-wide through the mandatory lockdowns. So in fact, they were hiring a record number of new employees and agents despite those lockdowns. In my opinion, the reason why they did so well is the very different approach to health coverage. Okay, so it's a common sense approach, which is not so common everywhere online. Every customer is unique. We don't serve cookie cutter plans, and we understand everyone has different priorities, concerns, and needs. And the one size fits all approach is not always the answer. So this is obvious to anyone who's purchased health insurance before, maybe online or from the marketplace. You're forced to buy completely on price. There's no optional coverages. There's no optional supplements. We understand individuals and businesses, they vary greatly, obviously, age, overall health, geographic location, occupational hazards, and of course, wants and needs. I don't understand why this concept is lost for most insurers. For example, when we build an automobile policy, the insurance company considers numerous factors like make and model, age, gender, mileage on the vehicle, driving history, your claims history, and they'll even do a criminal background. And that's all just for an insurance policy for your automobile. And that's a fraction of the cost compared to your health coverage policy. So compare buying a new vehicle compared to a critical illness. Critical illness can easily reach $1 million in medical bills. It's easy and it's common sense. So enough about me and the company. We're going to kind of get into where we find health insurance and some of the biggest problems with it. 5 that I've picked out. There's more, but these are the most common. You got your employer group coverage, and this is the one that most people find their health insurance through. It's through their work. Of course, the policy and network vary between every company. You have short-term plans. These are really built to bridge the gap between major medical coverage. These are not technically health insurance for real major medical health insurance. These can be found through some brokers and online through ehealth.com. There's MediShare plans. These are usually come from Christian ministry groups. This is also technically not defined as real insurance. You have private underwritten plans. These plans are these are not run by the state or federal government. These plans are exempt from mandatory coverages. You typically are allowed to personalize your plan with these private plans. You have to be approved, so you have to go through underwriting, and you can typically only get these through licensed agents, so you can't just go online and try to select one. And lastly is the marketplace. Okay, this is the most common fallback for insurance when your work doesn't have a policy that's available to you because maybe you're not full-time, you're just part-time, your small employer doesn't offer it, or you're self-employed. These plans are one size fits all, and it's actually going to be the main focus of what I discuss next. So many people don't realize that the marketplace is the same thing as Obamacare, as the Affordable Care Act, or the ACA. Okay, it's many names for all the same exact thing. So this is where a lot of the confusion starts with what the ACA really is. It's not Medicaid and it's not Medicare. It's important to know that these plans do not start with government subsidies. In fact, these plans can be the most expensive plans out there. The marketplace is the option, like I said, that most people fall back on, and they don't understand a lot of what it is. So it's hard because we watch the news, and some people will say Obamacare is the best thing ever. And then you flip the channel, and of course, it's the worst thing ever, depending on what channel you're watching. So this makes finding the truth difficult. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of just the facts and omit all the politics. The Affordable Care Act was signed into law in 2010, but its major provisions went into effect in 2014. Prior to 2014, as many of you know, if you had any major health issues and you went to Blue Cross, for example, you told them you needed insurance, they would turn you down and reject your application. And why? Well, it's because you were already sick. You didn't get insurance when you were healthy. And so if you already have cancer, of course, the insurance company is not going to want to give you insurance. It's a losing bet for them. It's a losing deal. Just like owning a car, you can't not have a car insurance and then crashing into someone, and then you think you can call State Farm and say, hey, I just got in a bad wreck, can I get insurance? Of course not. They're going to tell you you're crazy. It's the same exact thing with healthcare. So if you already had major health issues, the insurance company is not going to want to cover you. So back then, prior to 2014, you were stuck. You were unable to get health insurance. You didn't get it while you were healthy. So in 2014, the government stepped in and they put in place two laws. This is the first one. And the law told the insurance companies what they can and can't do. They put in more than two laws, but these are the two we're discussed. The first one says that the insurance companies who participate in the marketplace can no longer reject anyone. So today, it doesn't matter what conditions you might have, you're guaranteed coverage. So if I'm the healthiest person alive, it doesn't matter. If I'm someone with major health issues, it doesn't matter. Stage 4 cancer or the healthiest person, everyone gets access to this insurance. Now, of course, this law benefits many people, but there's some significant consequences with a law like this. So this law meant overnight unhealthy people, and that's only the term I'll use because lack of better word, but unhealthy people flooded the health insurance market. It didn't matter if you had stage 4 cancer or any number of critical illnesses, the marketplace didn't turn you down. Some of you have experienced this with a loved one, but you can easily run close to $500,000 in hospital bills with a cancer diagnosis, depending on the cancer. But that is very common to see $500,000 almost right out the gate for stage 4. In fact, this is a client of mine had a brain hemorrhage while working out in the gym. He spent just under 2 weeks in the hospital, and his hospital bills were over $200,000. So less than 2 weeks. And you could see how just the medical bills can just really pile up on you. So we'll kind of see the consequences of guaranteed issued here in a second, but we'll go to the second rule the federal government stepped in and said, and that's that there's mandatory coverage, implemented the mandatory coverage. This is when the federal government said, hey, insurance companies, you have to cover this list of items. And, you can see a lot of them on the screen, but it made certain behaviors, habits, and medical conditions automatically covered on the marketplace. So, for example, if let's say me, for example, I don't plan on having any more kids. I have a beautiful family and I have 4 kids. God bless me with those 4 amazing kids. And I think that's a perfect amount of children. And physically speaking, I don't have the biological equipment to have any more children. I'm a man and I can't give birth. So it would be crazy for me to have mandatory maternity coverage on my plan. But that's exactly what everyone has on their plan if they get a plan through the marketplace. So, even if you want it or don't want it, if you're physically able to have it or not, so no joke, you're a man and you just bought a policy for yourself, you're going to be paying for maternity coverage in case you get pregnant. So it's pretty crazy, right? So the same idea goes for the other mandatory items. Alcohol abuse, drug rehab, mental illnesses, they're all now covered on the plan, even if you're not going to use them and if you don't want them. Needless to say, these 2 new laws drastically changed the insurance world. It may look like a win on the consumer's perspective now, since you can't get rejected and there's more stuff covered than ever before. But these laws actually kill the insurance companies. And don't get me wrong, I don't care how much money the insurance companies really make. But if we think about it, if let's say Blue Cross Blue Shield is losing a ton of money, millions and millions every month by these new laws. What are they going to do to make up for that lost money? Of course, they're gonna raise the prices, and that's just one of the many things they'll do. But you can see that, in the annual premium rates just are crazy. So when it's all said and done, we definitely care how much the insurance companies make, because when they lose money, they make those changes to make up that lost money. They're going to raise the prices, those premiums. They're going to make the coverages worse for all of us. So for the most part, the only people who benefit from Obamacare are those who have major medical health conditions, because they can't get denied. This is the place where they find coverage, and that's great for them. It's absolutely wonderful that they have a place to go. But there's a huge group of people who are punished by the law. So outside of the obvious financial challenges that that we all go through and the insurance companies are going through, these new standards created a massive industry-wide adverse selection and moral hazard problem with the introduction of these minimum essential health benefits and guaranteed issue. Okay, enough about the Obamacare acts and federal regulations, but now we have a basic understanding of what happened and what's going on with the marketplace. So let's actually take a look at the numbers and see the real impact of the price coverage network of these marketplace plans that I'm talking about. I do this with every client when I sit down with them and talk. I'm required to do that by law. I have to let you know that there is guaranteed issue plans out there that you can get, and you won't be rejected if you try, regardless of your health benefits. And this is something you can do as well. It's as easy as going to healthcare.gov, plugging in your information, and you can see for yourself what it costs for a marketplace plan. So in effort to save time, I did this previously. So we're not sitting there watching me go through the website, but what I did is I used myself as the example. It's as simple as entering your zip code, your age, your gender, for everyone that's, this is for everyone that needs coverage. My family, it's genuine, and it gives you a good example of what people are going through right now here in this area. So I'm 37, wife's 36, 4 kids, 12, 8, and a set of twins that are 4. So let's see what it would cost a family like us. So once you put in that information, you submit your demographic information, plans start to pop up on the website. So I went to the cheapest plan. It's filtered through the cheapest, through the most expensive premiums. There's a few insurance providers in my area, and I selected the first one that everyone's heard of. So I skipped the first couple. There are 1 or 2 before this that were absolutely no one's heard of before. So, and that's for obvious reasons. The cheapest plan my family could sign up for with a big name provider and better is $1,444 a month. Okay, kind of circle that for you. It's your premium over here to the side. That's what I'm going to pay every month. We have a $16,600 family deductible on our plan, and the network is an EPO. And so I don't lose anyone. Let me go over a little bit what that means. So I mean, I pay over $1,400 a month just to have coverage, regardless if I use it or not. I pay every doctor, clinic, hospital bill. I pay 100% of that bill until I've paid $16,600. So that's my wellness checks, going to the clinic because I don't feel well, kids sprain their ankle at practice. It's 100% out of pocket until I hit $16,000. And that resets every year. And it's an EPO. That's an exclusive provider organization, and this is the worst type of network you can have. The most restrictive. This is where the insurance company selects the doctor for me, known as a primary care physician, and I must go visit that doctor or clinic anytime I have an issue. I can't see a specialist. I can't get any doctor's opinions without approval from the PCP first. And if I decide to go get a specialist or see someone else, it's going to be considered out of network, and I can expect 100% of those medical bills. So the only time I could go outside of that PCP if it's a bona fide emergency, and then even then the PCP can say, no, it wasn't. They determine, they're the gatekeeper. They can say that was legitimate or not. Okay, so it obviously doesn't make a whole lot of sense for people who travel, college students, people who travel for work, anyone that decides to ever leave their house. It's not a really great plan. I'm going to move on to another plan. So this is the next cheapest plan on the marketplace through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. This one's $14.75 every single month. It's got a $17,100 deductible. It's an HMO, which is still one of the worst networks out there, slightly better than EPO, Health Maintenance Organization. No choice of doctors or hospitals, can't travel, can't see a specialist unless the PCP recommends, no dental, no vision, no first dollar coverage. As a side note, I love to bring up for us Texans, but if you wanted this Blue Cross Blue Shield, a Texas plan here in Texas, you go to the MD Anderson Cancer Center website, which most of us Texans are very familiar with. And I took a screenshot directly off their website under insurance plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas is not included as a participating insurer at MD Anderson. So if you get a Blue Cross Blue Shield off the marketplace here in Texas, you develop cancer, your plan doesn't cover treatment at the best cancer treatment facility in the world located right here in Texas. So this example is powerful, and it holds true for a lot of specialty clinics throughout the entire country. All it takes is a simple Google search of the clinic that you want to go see, and you go to their insurance tab, and you'll find out what insurances are taken and what's not. And what I think is a little deceiving, a little bit of trickery, is you'll see Blue Cross Blue Shield, for example, is accepted. So you go into the specialty clinic and you get something looked at or getting some work done, and then you find out, oh, but not Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO or Blue Advantage Plus HMO or whatever network within the Blue Cross Blue Shield family. So just because they say Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't mean it's covered. All right. So kind of speaking of networks and HMOs, PPOs, the preferred provider organization, which most of you understand just on the surface level is the best you can get. It's the type you want. You get to choose your doctor and hospital. There are no PPO options in Texas. It's not true for every state, but for us, obviously makes a big deal. We can't find PPO options regardless of who we go through. As far as insurance providers on the marketplace, PPOs don't exist. You have to go through private insurers. All right, let's lastly look at the marketplace plan. If money wasn't an option and I just decided to get the best plan for me and my family, this is what it looks like. $2,447 a month, $2,300 family deductible, but then I'm still due $8,900 for max out of pocket. It's the worst possible network in the EPO, but look, hey, they included adult dental for me and my wife. So hey, what am I really complaining about? That's that's the best that's out there on the marketplace. So kind of wrapping this up, and I know we're kind of getting a little bit close to drop dead time. I want to kind of give you a quick peek behind the curtain and let you know that there's hope, and you don't necessarily have to get a plan off the marketplace. My job is to meet with the client, understand their frustrations, get an idea of what's important to them. I confirm doctors and hospitals they have and want to keep, or if they have some in mind they want to go see, that they're in network. Completely tailor these plans to the individual or the business. So with that in mind, let's see what my family qualifies off of a private plan when I go outside of the network or go outside of the marketplace and go through a United Healthcare Choice Plus PPO network. And so a family premium of just over $1,000, and this includes everything that I would expect a premier insurance company to provide. This plan includes supplemental coverages, make sure I'm protected in all angles, incentivizes my family to get wellness checks done, and will even put money in my pocket to do so. And as you can see on the screen, it includes everything I could possibly want. And to be fair, this was like the minimum type plan. As an example, I could load this up and I could get the premium much higher and give myself an extreme amount of insurance. Of course, I don't want to do that. Kind of want to do middle of the road, but you can kind of see the numbers say a lot. There's a significant difference there off the marketplace. So I want to kind of conclude and first send out the official invite to chamber members, especially including my financial planner friends in the meeting. I'm here to help you, your clients, and anyone on your staff. My advice is always free and fun. Of course, it's guaranteed to be fun. I know most of your clients' biggest monthly expense can be health insurance. Now imagine if we could free up a few $100s for a family to use, like investments or retirement or whatever magic place you'd like to put it. That's easy for us. And we have plans that are guaranteed renewable as well. So we can find you a plan if you qualify for. Once you're on. And as long as you make your monthly premium, they can't kick you off, and you're guaranteed coverage until you're 65. And it's pretty powerful for people that have gone through some heartache with the medical industry and see what it can cost you if something were to happen. So without anything else I'll beat up the marketplace about, I'll open it up to any questions you guys have. If I can't find a plan through what I specifically specialize in, I have a team of people in my office that do the other side of healthcare. So if you don't qualify, just take your file and I move it to the next guy, and then we take care of you, and we just follow up, make sure that you're being helped. So it's enough about the insurance world. What kind of questions that you guys have?
Scott, this is Irving. I have a question.
Sir.
So I represent a lot of entrepreneurs who are just starting their own business with a franchise. Very few are just solo entrepreneurs, right? There's maybe one or two coaching businesses I have, but the majority have employers, employees. What's the smallest group size? Like when you say small business, are you limited to, not limited, but, do you exclusively, sell small business plans? And how can you define for me what a small business size is?
So by definition, it's 2 to about 20. It can be about 30 depending on the state. Would be a small business. So you can have you can be self-employed and your business is just you, and I'll get you a small business deal that you can use as a tax write-off. So it's a great question. But when the size gets to about 15 and more, the group plans that you can get that are government regulated tend to be financially better. And that's just because there's just much more pool. There's more financial power when you pool a lot of people together. So that small business up to about 15 people is kind of the sweet spot for me. Now, that doesn't mean for the people that have large businesses that everyone on that payroll is in love with the healthcare that's provided. So that's somewhere I can step in and say they declined their employer coverage but went with something with me. And we do that all the time, especially when it comes to dependents. So if your wife and children raised your rates or skyrocket and you're looking to triple it if you have kids through your employer, they just get there, the employee gets taken care of through the business, and then I take care of the wife and kids.
Oh, interesting. So I guess the assumption is always that your employer may not be offering you the best program, or, your spouse's employer may not be. I mean, I think a lot of people go into this. So, and let me summarize your answer. Minimum of 2 people to 15 people is your sweet spot.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll do one individual, but 2 to 15 small business is a great spot to start. Yeah.
Gotcha. Excellent. And then, so what I was saying was a lot of people assume that employer-based insurance are the best option, and that's not always the case.
Correct. A lot of the time, it's going to be pretty good for the individual, the employee. But for example, the school districts here in Texas, ISD in Texas does a really good job taking care of the teacher or the faculty member of school. And then it triples if you add a husband and kid to the plan. So it went from less than maybe $100 or $100 to $900 if you decided to add a spouse. It's crazy. So
yes,
yeah.
So there's no cost to work with you to see options.
Oh no, I love talking to people. No, and it's easy too. I can do a quick consultation, I'll call it, but it's really just a conversation over the phone. Do it over email, and I even do it through text. Everyone in their 20s or younger I solely text with them because that's the only way they like to communicate, and hey, it's fine with me. So yeah, any way you reach out, I ask you a few questions, and we start from there.
One more question, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. So to declare yourself as a business, do you need to just show like some form of LLC, C Corp, or whatever documentation?
The beauty behind these private plans is you don't have to do a thing. So there are government restrictions on group plans. They're heavy restrictions. How many people have to be afforded the coverage? How many people have to get on it? The amount that the employer has to contribute to each plan, and it goes down a wide list. And it's absolutely cookie cutter. When you step away from that regulation and you go through a private insurer, it doesn't matter. Technically speaking, it looks like individual plans for everyone in your small business, but we make it so the employer now is paying and taking that out of the employee's payroll, putting it in, taking it out, whatever the incentive is. And you can even decide to cover an employee 100%. Say he's a top-notch guy and you want to keep him with your company. Incentivize them with 100%. We'll take care of your health benefits. You can do that, and the next guy can be at zero. It seems unfair, and you're not allowed to do that in the government regulated plans. But since every individual is their own policy holder, you can absolutely do that. And it's awesome for small businesses trying to grow because they can incentivize the top with benefits, and they can kind of feel it out for the new guys and kind of carrot in front of them. Hey, if you stick with us, you can get more and more contributed to your coverage.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate your presentation. I think we're running up on time. I know that there are a lot of people that have questions. One of the big ones that I have that I get a lot in my industry is the Medicare thing, and I'm glad to hear that you have professionals that you work with that you can pass those type of things to. So am I correct in that?
Yeah, absolutely. We hit 65. It's the federal government. It's amazing how restrictive it becomes. We have to be hands off, but we have to give it to someone that's certified in specifically that. So yeah, 65, we can still take care of you. It's just me physically giving your file to someone else.